What's going on, boys? How you doing? Ginger, Nils, Vlad, Optimus. I'm sure Bookie had a great day. Bookie the Bear. What's up, Yash? It's good to see you guys. Obviously, weird day today. I didn't do much. Couple of swing trades that I had or lottos that I had didn't work out, so I cut them this morning. Other than that, I was just trying to sit on my hands. It's one thing I'm doing in 2022. I noticed in 2021, a lot of the big plays that I hit were huge gains, the ones I had conviction on. But the little plays that I took just because I was bored, I'm trying to cut those out this year, get a bigger return, and I will show you guys what ends up happening. What's up, Andrew? What's up, Rav, Ricari? So let's get right into it. Obviously, huge dump in the morning. SPY wasn't even the weakest. This morning, I was actually looking at TNX. So TNX is the 10-year yields. If you guys look at this, when the 10-year yields are up, tech is very, very weak. And look at this gap up we got today. So huge gap up for yields. This is a big move, okay? Now we have a gap to fill the downside. Usually gaps are filled in these kinds of things. But what we're watching here is, I got you. Oh, the sound is working. All right. So TNX, huge gap up this morning. That told me tech was going to be weak this morning. That's why I called out those QQQ puts right off the bat. Not right off the bat, actually. I waited till pre-market low, so I have my pre-market low and high lines drawn, as I always do, as I told you guys to do as well. Right off the open, big 5-minute candle dump through. One candle test, no dice. Two candle, no dice. 15 minutes in. When this rejected right here, I called QQQ 400 puts. I got in with some size. I took them off for 20 cents. I took it from 130 to 150 or something. Obviously, if I held, those puts would have been like 300, 400% probably. But I got my return. I was happy. I was out. Other than that, I hit Apple puts once. Those are nice as well. But just complete reversal. Like, this is the market we're living in right now, guys. What's up, Kevin? How you doing? Very, very hard market to trade. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, if you guys just zoom out on this 5-minute chart, you'll have one day straight up in a line, one day straight down in a line, another day straight down, and then rip at the end of the day. One day sideways, down, up, down, up. This is not a trend market. This is just garbage. This is a trend market. This is an uptrend right here. You see this? Up, up, little dip, up, and this is an uptrend. So this is where I'm comfortable buying calls. Right now, we're not in a downtrend. Well, you could kind of say we're in a downtrend, but these pops are vicious on these right here. So if you were short here, you got squeezed out here, and then it went down. You know what I mean? So it's just a lot of chop in the last couple of weeks. Very tough trading, as you guys well know. QQQ especially took a big hit today. It went all the way from the open. I think it opened around... So it opened around 402.50, and we dumped in a straight line all the way to 394. That's a big move on an index. One thing I did notice is all my supports have been working. So if you guys see this, you see how I tried to get back over this 401.78. I sent these in the morning, by the way, for whoever wrote them down. Kept trying to get back over pre-market support. Couldn't do it. Dumped to the next level, 398. I think Oscar was asking me the support over and over again. Went to 398, bounced a little bit. No real bounce. Couldn't even get back over the 8-day. Dumped right back down. He said, what's the next support? I said 394. It kind of just chopped around 394 all day, and then at the end of the day, we got some Vanna kick in. People were offloading their shorts, covering their shorts probably, and that started a little rally into close there. But if you look at the overall picture of today, this is a very, very bearish day. This is just an oversold bounce here. What's up, other Andrew? So big dump. Didn't even recover 50% of that dump on that rip at the end of the day. If we got back to 398.78, then I would think about being bullish again for tomorrow. But for right now, it's just chop, guys. So did not play any new positions at the end of the day like I usually do. It's just a lot of chop. It's just a complete gamble in my opinion right now. SPY kind of held up better. Why do I say it held up better? Didn't take out pre-market support until all the way at 1040, whereas QQQ took out pre-market support on the first 5-minute candle. So that was very obvious. Why is SPY holding and why is QQQ coming down? The third index that we always watch. XLF. Look at this chart. This is a daily chart, guys. So first of all, on XLF, we had this huge resistance we were watching. Yesterday, we broke above, we held above, and today with increased volume, we gapped up, and we are almost at all-time highs on XLF. All-time high is 40.66. Today, we hit 40.70. So today, we hit an all-time high in XLF. We actually closed at an all-time high in XLF. So all these candles back here that hit those highs, they closed below it. Today we closed at an all-time high in XLF. Very bullish financials, as you guys could probably see on these charts. GS, big gap and green candle, big volume. XLF, no, what the hell am I talking about? WFC, so Wells Fargo, another big gap and go. BAC strong, I'm sure, yep. Just all the banks, JPM, Morgan Stanley, so all the banks just big gap ups and go. People are running to safety here. This is what it's telling me. TNX, the yields that I just showed you, when they're up like this, when the yields are up this high, people run to safety. They get out of growth, they get out of tech, and they run to safety stocks. And what I mean by that is banks, they run to Caterpillar, solid industrial company. They run to Coke, KO. Berkshire Hathaway was ripping today, even though Charlie Munger keeps buying Alibaba. Charlie Munger's turning into Ricky right now. But I mean, you can't really argue at these prices fundamentally. I got you, bookie. Just give me a bit. So obviously, it's very obvious they're running into safety. McDonald's is another safe company. Like, look at the run it's been on, right? It's just very obvious what they're doing right now. They're scared. They don't know what's happening. They think the rate hikes are coming. And there's another thing possibly at play here. We'll go over IWM, then I'll go over what I'm thinking right now is happening. So IWM obviously forming an inverse head and shoulders here on the daily. Very clear neckline here at around 225.43-ish. No, 225. Yeah, around 225.43 is the neckline on this inverse head and shoulders forming on IWM. If it, again, it rejected the 50-day moving average, guys. So that is a key level right here. 50-day moving average at 226.25. I had it written out yesterday. Obviously, today I moved down 3 cents, whatever. It's just a couple pennies. But the 50-day moving average right here is at 226.22. And until we close above that level, this IWM is going to be chop or we're going to come down. I do like IWM puts. If we reject the 50-day again tomorrow, I might take IWM at close puts. Other than that, not much action in IWM compared to QQQ today. QQQ was the obvious short because of yields being up. Let's go into ES here. I sent my chart in the morning, guys. Sent the short spot gamma levels. I basically just started using spot gamma levels. They're really good. So we have a call wall here at 48.39. This big red line here, that's a call wall, which means it's very unlikely that we get over that call wall unless we get some really, really good news or something changes. Other than that, we had 47.89, which we were watching all day. Sliced through it on the first attempt and then rejected twice, double top and dump. And we went and tested the next level, 47.64, almost to the quarter. It went down to 46.74.25, guys. Or no, 50. So we missed the support by 50 cents. That's not the end of the world, you know what I mean? So almost right at line to line, you can see how good these levels are. And we closed below 47.89. So where do we go after hours? Nobody knows. Right now we're kind of in the middle. If we close above 47.89 or if futures take us above 47.89, there's a good chance we can climb higher tomorrow. If we continue to stay below 47.89, we can come back down and test this 47.64, and under that is 47.44 or 47.45, I don't remember. But one of those two numbers, close enough. And VIX, what's really concerning is that we had this much damage in the stock market with the VIX at 16. So usually fund managers, hedge fund managers, when the VIX goes over 20, which is above here, they usually stop trading or they slow down, they take smaller positions, blah, 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 because that's known as like the volatile window. But right now the VIX is trading at 1692 and there was this much damage in tech. That is insane. So if I was just to look at this QQQ chart from this morning, this waterfall right here, without looking at the VIX, I'd guess it's at like 22, 23 at least. And we're trading at 16, so that's kind of worrying. One other thought I'm having in my head is Powell is coming on stage, I think January 25th or 26th. And he's mentioned that they want to hike rates 3 times in 2022 this year. They want to rate hike 3 times. So what another scenario could be, they could be dumping stocks on purpose to try to make him change his mind. He has enough excuses. He has COVID. He has a bunch of excuses on the table. But they might just be trying to force his hand. Because if SPY dumps 10%, 15% this month before he gets on stage, it's going to be very hard for him to hike the rates, in my opinion. I think he'll have to like postpone it or do it less or do it later. But they could be possibly doing that. You don't know. There's big games going on in the stock market all the time. One chart I want to go over is Bitcoin. This is a weekly chart on Bitcoin. This is absolutely disgusting. So as you guys know, if you've been around MyStockLife long enough, I've called the top like 3 times almost to the penny. Like so close to calling the exact top on Bitcoin 3 times. We called it back here. We saved money, so much money. We waited for the falling wedge to break out. So just to give you a little visual, you guys seen the falling wedge, so I'll just draw one of them. This is a little falling wedge. We got out, I think, right here at 60, almost right underneath 60K, and it dumped the 2 weeks after. We got back in the falling wedge, and look at the reaction from the weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks straight up on Bitcoin after the falling wedge. Another falling wedge here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks straight up after this falling wedge. And now we had a falling wedge here with the 200-day. I jumped back in some positions, but we only had one green week, and then we cave it all right back. So that's why I got out of my stuff again. So basically, it doesn't mean they became bears. It just means they trade smaller size. They're more careful going long. When the VIX is under 20, it's just a melt up market. Like stocks go up, so they keep putting on longs and longs and longs with full size. But as soon as VIX gets too high, they just either stop trading completely or take smaller size and start shorting too. So Bitcoin right now, if we break through this neckline here, I think we're in for a lot of damage. As you guys see here, you can draw some fib lines on here. You guys can see exactly if we break through this little support, we have 44,451 next, and then down we got 38,000 and 29,000. So a weekly head and shoulders is not something you play with. You just kind of wait it out. There's a lot of downside possible if we break through this and close below it. So let's see what Bitcoin does from here on. Obviously, if the stock market goes down, they take risk off in the stock market. They'll always take off risk in the crypto market. It's all happened almost every single time. So that's another reason why I'm just protecting my gains there. I had green. Why not just exit with green? I'll get back in later. AMD, we had an event today. Huge fuss yesterday. AMD has an event. Nice day yesterday. 4.4% sucked everyone in. And then today they gave it all back. So yesterday we went from 145 low to 151, so 7-point move up. Today, the high of the day was 152.50 and the low of the day was 140, so 12-point move down. 7-point move up yesterday on hype, and they took it all right back today. We closed right at yesterday's low was 145. Today's close was 144, so we closed below where we started yesterday in one day. So not much for the event, I guess. Right now, I know Bookie said he sees downtrend on here, but the thing is, we're just riding this 50-day moving average up. Like, as you guys see, we had the pullback. We had this massive run. We had the pullback. It held the 50-day the first time, bounced. Held the 50-day the second time, big bounce. And now it's just kind of on the 50-day again. If it closes below the 50-day, then it can be a short. But right now, it's riding up the 50-day, so I don't really have much opinion on it. Airbnb, again, huge day yesterday. Big, broke right through all the resistances. It actually opened lower than the bull flag and then closed above the bull flag. This is a bullish engulfing candle showing lots of strength, nice volume yesterday, and today it pulled back pretty hard. But if you look at it, yesterday's low was 165, today's close was 170. We closed $5 above where we were yesterday, whereas AMD closed below yesterday's low. So Airbnb has a good chance to keep going if the market wants to stay strong. I do think we see 178 this week. That's a 50-day moving average. If reopening plays keep getting bid, Airbnb should see 178 this week. Let's see. Amazon, absolute trash. One-day runner and then gave it all right back. Just like I said on AMD, it's almost the exact same candle. This is almost a bearish engulfing candle. Almost. I don't think it is. It's very close. Looks like we're just rejecting. Yesterday, the 21-day was at 3414. We stopped yesterday at 3414. Today, the 21-day moving average is at 3408. The high of the day was 3428. So big fake out in the morning, dumped it, and we closed near yesterday's lows. So that's all you need to know about Amazon. We're underneath the 200-day on the daily, and we are underneath the 50-day on the weekly, I believe. 50-day on the weekly, 3351. We closed today at 3350. We're actually under the 50-day on the weekly and under the 200-day on the daily, guys. Tesla. Big gap up yesterday, killer play, made my week basically, helping me be patient today. Big gap up, huge gap to fill here. Obviously, a lot of momentum in Tesla. I think it was hurt a lot by the market weakness, not by its individual stock weakness, because it did get over 1200 overnight. I told you guys 1200 is a very critical number. I didn't think it would get over yesterday. It got over by 1 point at the very end of the day, after testing it a bunch of times. Got over by 1 point. After hours ran like 4 or 5 points up like this. This is not bullish. This morning opened up below 1200, stayed below 1200. Or actually went up to 1209. Okay, 1209. It was pre-market. Right at the open, they dumped it. Barely got back to over 1200 for 10 minutes, and then they just flushed it. So Tesla right now is in no man's land. It's very hard for me to take calls on it because of the huge gap below, because of where it is. I mean, it's almost at all-time highs, right? It might need to digest this move. I mean, yesterday's move was 143 points on $1 trillion company. That's a huge move for Tesla. If you guys look, just yesterday, Tesla gained more market cap than NIO, XPEV, and one more company put together. So that's a huge move to digest. It might need 2-3 days sideways, or it might need to pull back and fill that gap. And before it starts going higher, it might just rip. I don't know. But right now, it's kind of in no man's land. I don't really have a direction for you guys on it. Baidu, China, got a little pop today, intraday. I mean, this is like a picture-perfect bull flag. I know everyone hates China. Everyone hates everything. But this big 10.5%, it's the same thing as Tesla, guys. Like, we had a big 13.5% day on Tesla. That's what I just said. It might need to consolidate. Baidu had a 10.5% day on Thursday with huge volume, and now it's just consolidating on lower volume. That's all you want to see. So it's consolidating. It closed today at 146.53. It's above the 8-day. It's above the 21-day. So both moving averages are still acting as support on Baidu. If we get another big news or something, or some China news where Chinese government's helping companies, this one still has a chance to go. There's nothing bearish about this unless you zoom out to the long term. Obviously, it's in a downtrend for a long time. But short term right now, it's just a bull flag looking for a continuation. 50-day moving average at 153.43. If we close above there, then we can head to the 200-day. But let's see what happens tomorrow first. Charlie Munger buying more BABA definitely does not hurt. One stock I want to go over is Net. Why? Because this stock is solid. This stock, oh, you guys read that? That was embarrassing. You guys seen it? Like, these stocks are just getting destroyed. Net is one of the strongest companies in the stock market, revenue growth wise. They don't make the profit. They were overvalued, but as a company, as a growth company, they are great. But the market's just been crushing growth companies. Look at this. Everything September went on a massive tear. It went from 108 all the way to 221. So it more than doubled its market cap in like 3 months. And what did it do the following 2 months? Gave it all right back. So Net is a great company long term. It got a little ahead of itself. Price to sales was way too high. It was just too rich fundamentally. And right now, this is one of the companies. Like, we're doing an equity session this week sometime, me and Ricky. And if you look, this is a pretty important support here. If you look at it, 108.58, and the low was 108.93. So we're right at support from September. Can it go lower? Absolutely. Will it go lower? I have no idea. But if you like this company long term, I would. It might even be worth a scale in soon here. Let's see when growth starts turning around. If you want, let's say if you want 100 shares of Net, it wouldn't be a bad idea to buy 30 here. You'll buy 30, wait a month or two, see what happens. If it goes lower, you buy another 30. If it goes lower, you buy another 30. You just DCA and you end up with an average around 85 bucks, and you hold it forever. You hold it 5-10 years, the stock will be back up. Like, it's a good stock. They're just killing off growth right now. Snow, same story as Net. I don't need to go over much. It's the exact same story. Solid company. It's just overpriced. It's growing fast. Everything's great. They're killing growth. That's all it is. And right now, Snow has a pretty clear resistance. I don't know if Bookie was talking about this one, but you can just kind of see this is very clearly resistance. Every time it's gone to the resistance, can't break through, and now it's breaking down. And also we have a little support that it's breaking through. So if they continue to kill growth, two of the stocks that you need to be watching are Snow and Net. Those are two of the most expensive fundamentally expensive companies in the market right now. They're both great companies. They're both growth revenue great, but if they kill growth, these two are going to get crushed. Another one that's showing you right now, a company that I love, that I think is the next Amazon. It's a great company, SE. So SE, last May was at 200. March was at 200 during COVID lows. Oh no, COVID was way back here. COVID was 20, yeah, March 20th. March 20. So it was way back here before the chart even started to get going. It was around 40 bucks. SE is a growth company. This company is great. Like, if you look into them, they do e-commerce, they do gaming, they do everything, and they're eating other people alive. Like Melly, they were taking Melly market share in South America. Great company if you look into it. Just, it's a growth company. They're just crushing growth. Like, they don't discriminate. They crush growth. Lemonade, look at this LMND, guys. Like, way down. LSPD is an e-commerce company, way down from its highs. They got Shopify. Everyone uses Shopify. Shopify is a solid company, right? It was down 141 points today. That's not normal. Huge head and shoulders. They're just punishing growth right now. When the market turns, it will turn. It always turns. You're like 2-3 years down the line, you're gonna be sad that you missed Shopify for $1,000. It's gonna be like 25, 3,000. So just remember that stuff. Now is the same thing. Now their last earnings, they absolutely crushed their earnings. So the stock was at around $690. Their last earnings, it was around 600. Sorry, like 690 bucks. They absolutely crushed analyst estimates. If they're beating the estimates, and the stock is down from 693, it's down 100 points after killing estimates. And just look at this chart. They're just crushing growth. So that's the story. Basically, 2-3 years down the line, you're going to regret not starting positions in these kinds of equities. If you're a long-term investor, it's not a bad idea to start soon. I mean, I wouldn't buy, like, I wouldn't be like, put your limit buy today's low, 576. I would say, like, put a little limit order in, good till cancel, $550, $520 on now. And for 1/3 of your position, if it gets filled, it gets filled. Because usually when these stocks are dumping like they were today, it's very hard to press the buy button in your equity accounts. Remember that. So just put in limit orders where you think you should be buying a little bit and set it and forget it. Make investing long-term, make it automatic. Boeing here. Boeing, strong day. Through the resistance, I did grab some equity in Boeing today because I'd rather play it that way. I didn't really feel like watching the option every 5 minutes. Took a pretty hefty position. I held it overnight. If they continue to run to growth, safety, I think BA has a big chance to bounce hard. Next level for Boeing is way up here. So we're through the 50-day. We're through all the moving averages. We can get to the 200-day, which is at 226. And if we get through that, algos are going to start kicking in buying. So 226 is probably my target on this equity. I might exit earlier. I might exit later. I don't know. Boeing very rarely has a second day. It finally had a second day. And almost every time it has a second day, it just runs for a while. So you guys see this? Green. Second day was green. And then it just ran for 4 more days. Same thing here. Second day and then 4 days. So Boeing has a pattern where it rarely has a second green day. It usually has one green day. Everyone jumps in. It screws everyone the next day. So if it does go on a run, it does have usually big runs. So let's see if Boeing can keep going here. Let's go over Bucky's UNH here. UNH. So you were showing me this morning. I sent this exact chart to you. It's a very clear top here. Rejected the next day. Pulled back. Set a higher low. Ripped through it to all-time highs, came back down, retested yesterday perfectly. Look at this perfect retest on the line yesterday. And today, bearish engulfing candle, breaking support. So this is a very good topping pattern in my opinion. What do I mean by topping pattern? It looks like it does not want a new all-time high. I was just checking the weekly candle right here. Look at this big upper wick showing taking profit. And we're close. If we close this week below this resistance line, we have the 21-day moving average next, which is 487.21. Under 487.21, we have this little candle, 475. So 487, 475, and then the 50-day moving average at 466. The volume today tells me that this one is not done going down. So that's a very good short if you're in. If you're not, we did close below, so I might be looking. Maybe look for a retest of this line, and then we can short it down. Let's see what happens. Big volume, breaking of retest. This is a beautiful short here. MA. MA, just that broadening wedge. This was, you sent the chart at the end of the day. It actually surprised me how good the setup was, because I was telling you I hate playing in the middle of these ranges. This one tested resistance, pulled back hard, big profit taking. This is a reversal candle. Why is it a reversal candle? Big upper wick means buyers were exhausted and sellers sold or they took profits off. Buyers took profits and sellers jumped on it short on this resistance. So right now on MasterCard, we can get a move all the way down to the 310s, 311s if the market wants to stay weak. I don't know if this is a dividend payout. If this is the X dividend, you have to look into dividends too, because that affects a stock. And just look what happens. But other than that, I mean, everything looks good on a MasterCard short. I mean, I would short this down all the way to 360. And I might jump in with you tomorrow. So this one looks great too. UNH looks great, and there's solid charts. UNH, you could have taken it at the end of the day. Why do I say at the end of the day? Because what I said was we have to wait for it to close below this previous resistance, and it looked like it was closing below it. That previous resistance is at around 495-ish, and we look like we were closing below 495. I would have jumped in today. See if it gets followed through the 21-day to the 50-day. So UNH, MasterCard, I love both the shorts. NVIDIA, let's go into NVIDIA. Semiconductors were strong at the beginning of the day because of the AMD news. And right away, they just pulled the rug. I don't know if it was market weakness. I don't know if AMD had a bad event or something. I didn't really look into it too much. But NVIDIA right now is just the same thing as AMD. It's just carrying along the 50-day moving average. Today, we closed below the 50-day moving average, so we can roll over on NVIDIA. I don't like NVIDIA as much as I like AMD because of the fact that AMD's been closing above the 50-day moving average, whereas NVIDIA just closed today underneath it. So keep an eye on NVIDIA. It could roll over here. It's underneath the support. Weekly, let's check the weekly. Weekly is still very extended. I mean, it's holding the 8-day moving average on weekly. So right now, NVIDIA, if I had to guess, I'd say it'd go down. I probably wouldn't long this right now. But I probably won't short it either. It's not the best short setup. Like the UNH and the MasterCard are much better setups than this. But other than that, I mean, big volume, close under the 50-day. And I would bet that it's going down more if I was betting.